Yes, 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 yes! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of It's Not That Deep, bro. And we're back, episode 34. That's right, 3-4.
I don't know where I'd be without you, Martin. Keeping me chipper with your, your over-enthusiastic attitude. Makes me smile.
That's me all day, son. Let's get it. For all you new listeners.
Oh, there's been
there.
some talk about the Randy Master. I've seen out on the social medias. People are talking about the Randy Master.
You talking about that guy that sent me that message?
Yeah, you got a comment. you got a comment on one of your skipping videos. Martin's doing the Road to World Champion Skipping Challenge that he's set himself, and he's posting daily skipping videos. So go check that out on his Instagram. But someone commented, Randy Master 5000.
Yeah. They've upgraded the Randy Master.
Well, maybe we'll call it that from now. Maybe
It's the upgraded version of the Randy Master 4000.
which is the 5000.
Now it's the 5000.
Who was that commented?
Somebody I work with.
Someone you work with. Well,
Yeah.
big up to them for listening and
Chad Lewis.
championing.
Give him some love.
Shout out Chad Lewis for pioneering and championing the Randy Master, which we will now boot up.
That's right.
For people that don't know, it allows us to randomly select a film from our library that is put together from the big list on Letterboxd. If you swing over to ølund 94 on Letterboxd, you can see what films we make our selections from. So, I believe it's your turn, Martin.
Is it?
That's what I think. I could be dead.
Are we doing the countdown now? Or
Oh well, no. That's coming in a future episode. The brand new upgraded countdown.
fair enough.
But we'll stick with the traditional one for the second.
Okay.
So at the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and the film that we are watching this week on It's Not That Deep, Bro, is The Iron Giant, 1999 animated classic.
Okay.
Let's do this.
Okay, let's do this.
It's meant
happening.
It's meant to be a great film, Martin.
Who's it by?
Oh, Steven Spielberg is involved, but I don't know if he was the director. It's got Jennifer Aniston in it. I definitely know that. It's one of those films that I saw around a lot as a kid on like VHS. You'd see it in the adverts, but I just never ended up watching it. Oh, it's Brad Bird, who is the director of The Incredibles and Ratatouille.
Oh, damn. Okay, let's get it.
Yeah, this is going to be good. So, yeah, get yourself a copy of The Iron Giant, and we shall see you on the other side.
Peace out. It's not that deep, bro. And ladies and gentlemen, we are back with It's Not That Deep, bro. We just finished watching The Iron Giant.
Back with the pink K-Swiss.
Whatever that means.
The Iron Giant, Brad Bird. Oh, I'm teary-eyed, Martin.
Are you?
I'm not going to lie, that film had me...
In tears?
Yeah, just like, you know when your tear ducts fill up and you'll get like maybe 1 or 2 tears just coming down? Not like, sobbing.
Yeah.
But yeah, just welling up. I think that's what it's called. That film had me welling up.
Why? Give me your opinion on that film.
Oh, God. It's like Shrek. It's the same, like, premise. Like, a big, unknown entity comes into a human situation and everyone's terrified of it. And, it's the judging the book by its cover.
Let's kill it.
We don't understand it, so we need to kill it sort of thing. And that
That's just the human race in.
A nutshell.
Yeah.
And it makes me sad because it is very true. This, like, what we've seen, the way that the humans responded in this film is pretty accurate to how humans actually respond.
And it's only one though, one human.
Well, he specifically is a very fearful character, the CIA agent. He's like only out for himself. He just wants to live. He doesn't care about he's very selfish. You know, he's only thinking about himself, and he's funny. He made me laugh, that character, in his mannerisms, but he's a terrible person, you know.
This film had like some Tom and Jerry vibes, you know, with some of the scenes that were happening.
Well, like the slapstick, the comedy, yeah.
Yeah.
Or like Scooby-Doo.
Yeah. Like when that hand was in the toilet and he went in, looked, and obviously
Mom!
closed the door, and it closed the door on his face. And oh yeah, I'm fine. Don't worry about it. If somebody closed the door in your face, oh my goodness.
Yeah, when he's first introduced and he opens the door and he's like, hello, and then just shut instantly. Yeah, it was very slapstick. Its animation style was like pretty unique and fun. You could tell that it was like Brad Bird, right, in Ratatouille and The Incredibles. I could feel his presence in the script, and just that whole Pixar vibe. It was handled there. It looked wonderful. Like, think of how old that is.
1994.
I think so, yeah. Let's just get a little bit of information on this film going. I believe it's 94.
Let's see.
I've just typed in the giant iron.
Yeah. What is wrong with you?
It's 1999. But it began development in 1994. Yeah, so it was released in 99.
That's quite a long time.
But still, I think it looks absolutely fantastic for that.
That era.
Yeah, that era, definitely. It's
definitely has its...
It's unique.
Yeah, its uniqueness.
I also love that it was set and framed by the whole space race. The 1950s, the first thing you see is Sputnik coming across the sky. And it's a topic I've actually spoke about before, probably in like the Close Encounters episode, or like some of the ones that have been about extraterrestrials and whatnot. The Sputnik terrified everybody, like in England and just in the Western world, because the public's perception was that Russia wasn't that powerful to be able to beat America and England to putting something in space.
Yeah.
And then when it wasn't like announced in the Western world, like, you know what I mean? It was just like it happened, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, we didn't know Russia could do that," and it caused this whole
uproar.
Panic, the Sputnik panic, which subsequently led to the Red Scare, which is the eternal fear of communism that exists in the capitalist world. You know, those damn Ruskies coming over to make us all communists. That's an idea that's been pushed by like the Western governments since the end of World War II, and it is what frames this whole film. You see the fear that exists within the military-industrial complex. You know, they shoot first so we can understand what it is. Getting to know it isn't even like on the table.
No, not even like understanding the people around it either, because they're like, you know what, we ain't gonna listen to these people. Just shoot.
There was a great bit where Dean McCoppin, not Dean, sorry. Where's his name? I'm looking at all these. I'm looking at the cast list and I'm trying to find the Kent Mansley.
Yeah, Kent.
Yeah, Kent Mansley speaks to Hogarth about why it's so important that the American government understand what this thing is, and he's saying it is a foreign object, and you know what foreign implies? That it was not built by us, and because it's not built by us, that gives us cause to think that it's a threat.
Destroy it.
Yeah, which that's like the real attitude of like the military to this day.
I think every like country would be the same.
But it's so wrong.
Yeah,
It's such a negative attitude.
With something that like literally about to assassinate a whole fucking army, bro, just by itself. Like, why would you just be like, let me start shooting it straight away? It's running away, so I'm gonna keep shooting it. 'cause
It
it's
got
running
me,
away.
yeah, it got me teary-eyed because even the giant itself is having a crisis of deciding whether it's an offender or a defender.
Mm-hmm.
If obviously, you get a little insight into where it came from when it has that kind of dream,
Mm-hmm.
and you
The
see,
robot planet.
yeah, or the vibe I got was like it was a planet and the robots were built to defend it, sort of
Maybe.
thing. They,
Maybe.
yeah, they look like defensive drones.
But that could be like them invading.
It could be. It's kind of open, that scene, which I like,
Mhm.
because you don't get the full explanation of who the giant is and where he came from, but it opens a load of questions, which is nice. He is struggling with the concept of whether, like, when he says, "I'm not a gun," the whole gun idea. And that's a real kind of battle that you have in your own head. I think everyone goes through at some point. You decide whether you're like on the offense or the defense. Am I gonna like be ultra offensive and like some people like being like, you know what I mean, jabbing people and irking them in the way that they present themselves.
Yeah.
And then other people play it defensive. And I guess in human reality, it's a fine line of like walking that. You know what I mean? Like you use a bit of both. Offensive play and defensive play in your life. No?
No, I don't. Well, I don't. I don't think so. Like what?
Well, it's like when you're in my flat at pre-drinks, jumping up and down to the song "Hard as a Motherfucker" by Jay-Z and Kanye West. I consider you're
How?
on the offense. Yeah, that
To
stands for "Hard as
who?
a Motherfucker."
I know.
You were just that's offensive to that. Everything in the room is offended by that. I'm about
I
to
don't.
go
I
ham.
don't think that that sort of behavior, it's offensive. Like I don't think it's offensive. So
Well-
that's why I do it. If it was offensive, I wouldn't do it.
But then that's what I'm saying. It's not necessarily bad.
No.
You know what I mean? Like comedy, offensive things are funny. That's why we watch like comedy a lot. That's why South Park is what it, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Because
yeah.
they're like, but they're not hurting anyone. If it, like everything's up for debate like that. But with the Iron Giant, he makes like a definitive decision. He
That
will
he is
he will
not a
only be
gun.
defensive if he is offended upon,
Mm-hmm.
sort of thing. Which is probably the best way to manage that situation. You know,
That-
only defend
That's everyone, bro.
when you need to. But
Well, there are people that don't do that. They just constantly offending people for no reason.
yeah, or being defensive. But it's taking a robot, something that shouldn't have, you know, it deals with the concept of the soul and moral fiber. You know what I mean? It's
You can see him learning to like
empathy and
yeah,
how to
this-
like care for others.
yeah, like it's not just a giant robot that's killing everyone and eating everyone's like
No,
metal.
because it also, I like the beginning bit because it shows a lot of like the old way of how such a term as flying saucer came to be. You know, in the 1950s, it was very kind of word of mouth, small towns, you know, an event would happen outside the village and then it would spread around the village via word of mouth and this big buzz.
Straight away, like everyone would know by the end of the day.
Big buzz about this mysterious event that had happened. And that's how you end up with some of the like most famous kind of unidentified aerial phenomena cases like your Roswells and stuff like that. That is exactly the same as this, like an event that happens out in the desert, big explosion, the army turn up, then there's loads of hearsay about it, and there's only like a handful of people that actually know the deal of what happened. So it was really cool. I just need to see what Steven Spielberg's involvement with this, if anything. I could have just completely
Made that up.
made up the fact that he had anything to do with this film, but in my head, he's connected to this film for some reason.
Why do you think he's connected to this film?
It's just it's like in his sentiment. Yes, okay, this is why it's in my head. I was going to mention this. We went to see Ready Player One, didn't we?
Yeah.
The Iron Giant's in that film.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. Brogan is leaving the room. See you later, man. Where does it say? Here we are. Ready for Player One will feature the Iron Giant, and people are freaking out.
Mm-hmm.
Plays a huge.
You can see in the trailer.
Yeah. So Steven Spielberg actually says the Iron Giant plays a huge role in the movie. Because Spielberg.
Yeah, he's one of the. Because obviously they need to get the whole basis of Ready Player One is like
The Easter eggs.
them Easter eggs, yeah. So he's one of the Easter eggs, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. Replacing... So Ultra... It was going to be Ultraman, but they...
Ultraman, like the series.
The character Ultraman was going to be in Ready Player One, but he got replaced by by the Iron Giant.
Mm-hmm.
So, the inclusion of the Iron Giant sparked controversy as the character was depicted using his arms as guns, despite the original 1990 film establishing that he resists violence.
He's
so
not a gun.
That's why I've got the Steven Spielberg connection. I mean, after this, I'm going to go look into the production of this film because I'd just be interested in. I just feel like he has involvement in it. You know what I mean? It's very. We've watched Spielberg films before, and they appeal to kids, but then they're also like heavily inspired by sci-fi in the 1950s because that's when he grew up. So, I guess.
How old is Spielberg?
I can tell you this. Steven Spielberg is 74 years old. He's a veteran.
Did he go to war?
I didn't mean like that sort of veteran. I meant of the film industry.
I was gonna say.
No, he was born in 1946, a year after the war ended. So his parents would have been involved.
Yeah. Nothing like Grave of the Fireflies though, which is good.
Oh yeah, then there's war films, man. Some of the best films ever are war films, you know, because they create such raise so many emotions. Everything's heightened during war. The happiness, the sadness, you know, it's all very extreme.
If you're losing, you're sad. If you're winning, you're happy.
Yeah, and I
guess fair.
Fear would be one of the big themes of this film, and how to not act out of fear.
If he can control somebody by fear, they will do a lot.
Well, that's like the main way that people are controlled. Like
through fear,
through, not to get too conspiratorial, but like constant fear mongering in like the media and on social media makes people just permanently anxious, which then makes them very easy to kind of manipulate. Because people get desperate when they're scared. They think that it's the end, and they think that
you can see it in like Hogarth's when Kent is interviewing Hogarth, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we can make it so that your mum is
and I was thinking
very well off."
I was thinking in that scene, he says really confidently, because he's developed Hogarth's pictures, and he has that one of the Iron Giant. Now that general said to him, we hear the conversation between the general and Kent, and the general says, "Look, Kent, if you had some evidence, then I could send if there was a footprint, I could send an expert down there to take a cast of it. If you had a photo, maybe I could send some troops down, but all you have is a feeling." But then later when he's interrogating Hogarth, he says the picture thing so confidently. He's like, "This picture will guarantee the army are going to be here." And it's like that he's using scare tactics there because, he knows what the general actually said is maybe if you have a good photo, I can send a few troops down.
Yep.
But Kent says it in a manner that's like,
he's going to send the
this
whole
photo is the end of everything,
Yeah.
like sort of thing, which
They're
is...
going to come here and kill him.
Yeah, straight up fair. And that would
I feel like it's more like because Hogarth was giving him the rundown all the time, like always always dodging his questions and be like, just leave me alone. I don't know anything.
Well, yeah. Then I thought that about Hogarth as well. That he's not very good at like hiding that something's going on, because if you've got to make it look like to everyone else like everything's completely normal. But
So like, obviously, Kent is like, it has something against Hogarth. So when he was like, I'm just gonna kill it, he didn't even think about like, it wasn't just fear, it was just him like, I wanna fuck this kid up because he made me lose my job. Well, he nearly made me lose my job.
yeah, I think the point it shows when the minute that Kent knows that the nuke's going to kill everyone, that's his real character that you see.
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Like that's the purest. That's
Fuck
the most.
America.
Well, that's
I'm out of here.
yeah, that's the most honest Kent was the whole film
Mhm.
in that second just there. And what you see is a scared little boy basically.
Mhm.
But Hogarth probably
Yeah.
hates Kent. I mean, Kent probably hates Hogarth because he's already braver than him.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's like confronted the giant and like fully made friends with it, where Kent can't even comprehend the idea of the giant. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like it like bothers him so much that he can't. It was interesting seeing the general as soon as he realized that Hogarth was alive, was rational and was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, the
What?
kid's alive, for God's sakes!" Like,
Yeah, we can't just shoot it because it's got a kid.
there was some good Toy Story touches on that, Woody representing like the old way of thinking, the cowboy way of thinking. I'm the sheriff of this town,
Mhm.
and then the spaceman lands and ruins everything for him. Like this new
Kid on the block.
new kid on the new wave, and this film is steeped in that, like the atomic age. He
Yeah.
says we're in this new exciting age, the atomic age. Everyone thought like the future was round. Welcome to the world of tomorrow.
But it could be if the giant rebuilds himself,
Or if
and
the
then
people were ready for the giant.
I feel like they would be ready the second time around. You know what I mean? Like they wouldn't think so irrational because he did come and he did save their life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
Sacrifice himself.
It's
Like
quite-
if it was an entity that was here to destroy everything, he wouldn't have done that.
it's quite it's like an interesting commentary on how we actually treat the idea of like a foreign presence coming in.
Mhm.
It's got to prove itself that it's
Yeah,
not like
yeah.
here to hurt us.
Yeah, but then we try to hurt it first, and it's
if
like,
it doesn't do that in the
what?
right way, it's such a weird dance. It's very much like when you see like nature documentaries of two like cheetahs seeing each other in the wild. You know what I mean? And they're like, or like a predator and a prey situation where they're like, they spend a good few minutes like scoping each other out at the beginning, and there's a lot of like eye contact. And it's like, what are you gonna do? What is this? Like,
Are you coming for me?
yeah, and
Yeah.
that is kind of the dance that two new entities have to do when they meet one another, and it's something that I hope we get to experience, Martin, in our actual life, meeting a new intelligence and having to work out
Yeah,
whether
that would be pretty amazing.
I believe that would be like,
I'm gonna start exploring the universe, bro.
that's what they say about the actual like army. The attitude you see in this film is very realistic to how it actually is. A lot of the people that are involved in the military are like raised in Christian families, and they're raised with the attitude of fight, serve the country, and don't ask questions. And it's very, the army general was actually watching.
Follow orders and don't ask questions.
Yeah, the
That's the whole.
army way.
Yeah.
He was watching cowboy westerns.
Yeah.
The general was, and then it cut to like Hogarth watching science fiction.
Mhm.
And that's completely indicative there of the two different mindsets.
But he did watch. Didn't he watch some Western films like?
That's what
cowboy?
I mean.
Like no.
Hogarth.
Yeah, the star.
I don't think so. I just know the fact that he was obsessed with his comics,
Yeah.
and he's
yeah.
like big into science fiction. So
Mhm.
that is just completely. It's kind of showing the new way, the new attitude against these old way of the cowboy. I'm the sheriff in this town. This town ain't big enough for the two of us. You know, that whole
Yeah.
like attitude. Well, this town is big enough for the both. Like, there's no one so big that no one else can exist in this town. Like
yeah.
that.
But
that-
I like the way that they showed Superman in the action comics.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the front cover of the first Action comic?
No.
That's like Superman's first appearance, and it's not like a Superman comic or anything. It's
No,
just
no.
called.
Yeah.
They were called pulp magazines back in the day.
Pulp magazine.
Yeah, because they were made of this cheap paper called pulp, and they'd be like 25 cents. It's like the ones you find in Fallout.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're the original comic books, like where all the original characters come from, and it was a lot more.
So good.
You had so many stories back then because comics were just like the main form of entertainment. You had like.
Just being born in that era, bro, that would have been.
It would. Oh, and the music was good in this too, wasn't it? There was like hints of that American Graffiti.
Yeah.
50s ballady songs, which is great. But the stories that would be in the pulp magazines, some of them would have characters in that you'd only see once. You know what I mean? It's not like to carry on a character. It's just to tell lots of different stories. And I can go back and read them now and still
Find them enjoyable.
Yeah, definitely. There's ideas that are still pretty modern that were, concepts that were being brought up in these old science fiction comics. And it's like, oh, God, some of these could be made into like a Black Mirror episode and people would like eat it up sort of thing. It's
What would you do if you saw
in that situation.
a Iron Giant? Yeah.
I like to think I'd play it somewhat how Hogarth played it.
Do you think so?
I'd
The
like to
whole
think
first
so.
scene.
He's
Like, would you run away or would you stay there? Because that was like quite hectic. You have to be like he
You
was
just
quite a
know-
resourceful kid. You know?
Yeah, but then no human being can actually dictate how they're going to act once the adrenaline kicks in because it changes like your thinking and running. I do believe instinctively that most people would just run if they saw that because you're not like geared to have ever seen that. You don't have it like in your set of brain functions like, oh, saw a dog. Every animal you see, there's a different way of acting,
Yeah.
But that it'd be like, do not compute. It would be difficult. There'd be like you'd have to process it and like work it
Really
out
quick though.
really quickly, and you'd have to think on your feet.
Quite a lot.
It'd be pretty stressful. But if if I'm definitely not in the Kent category, I'm like open and I want to engage with
the
foreign entities. It's just it's playing that dance, isn't it?
The whole
What would you do?
I mean, I would try to help it, just like Hogarth. Try to teach it words.
Yeah,
would
it's quite
be-
interesting that it learned English as the film went on.
Yeah.
Supplied by the smooth, supple tones of Vin Diesel.
I still can't believe that Vin Diesel
Yeah,
voices the giant.
yeah. Vin Diesel does voice the Iron Giant.
He does voice like a lot of other characters as well.
Yeah, Riddick.
What? He doesn't.
He's in
He
the
is Riddick. That's not animated.
Oh, I was just saying that that's a character that Vin Diesel plays. Was my
Yeah, I
point.
know. Well, I mean, like a lot of like cartoons or movies,
What are the
animated cartoons. He does.
Really?
Yeah.
What
yeah.
other films is he in?
Oh, I couldn't tell you.
Oh,
need
yeah.
to look
You
it
just
up.
know that he's an animation
Yeah,
mogul,
yeah.
but you don't know
What other
any
films?
specific
No,
films.
No.
No.
I could look that up.
Yeah.
Let's look that up now.
All I think of when I think of Vin Diesel is Riddick and The Pacifier, which was a film where he played a babysitter that released in about 2006 that I went to see for a friend's birthday.
Wow.
Go on.
Wow.
You've just seen something that's piqued your interest. I can see.
No. Yeah. Just looking at his voice acting.
He's bold, man.
What does that have to do with anything?
Nothing. It was just an observation.
He voices Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh yes, I've not actually seen that, but I am aware of Groot and the fandom.
What else?
I mean, I'm just happy to find out that Mr. Diesel, has expanded his career past
Oh shit!
Riddick.
He's gonna fucking play a character in Avatar 2.
Oh wow, man! So we've got that to look forward to. We need to watch Avatar.
Mm-hmm.
It will come up. Have you seen it?
Yes, but a very long time
Yeah, I
ago.
saw it on like a bus journey. I was going somewhere, a school trip or something. But I think I'd have a lot more to say about it now. We should definitely watch it. Yeah, I thought this was a really good film. In closing thoughts, I thought it was a kids' film, but it was definitely like full of real emotion and real
Very wholesome.
point. There's a moral to this tale,
Mm-hmm.
and as we know, I love the moral.
To be fair, it's a change of pace from the last few films we've watched. Although, obviously, apart from Batman.
We do Batman, but we like to keep it.
Yeah.
We're all over the map. As long as it's real and as long as it means something, it's not just pointless. Then I'm here for the journey.
Of course.
So that's a 2 thumbs up from me. I'd highly recommend going and watching The Iron Giant if you didn't before this podcast.
Make sure you get some tissues, because it will make you teary-eyed.
Yeah. So thank you very much for listening.
It's a very smooth episode.
We just want to thank you so much and hope that you follow us on all the appropriate outlets.
You know where we are.
Go on, Martin.
Instagram, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. We've got our own website, mipltd.org.
And I'm Ølund, and I make music. And you search my name, OLUND, and you're gonna find what we're doing. So we really appreciate having you round.
Thank you for listening.
There's gonna be some.
And hit us up in the comments below. Tell us what you think if you've watched the film already.
#RandyMaster5000.
That's right.
Peace.
Peace.